Chael Sonnen called me fat. Chael Sonnen said that my body fat percentage was too great for me to accurately predict the outcome of a boxing match. Now, as ridiculous as a statement as that is, he then goes on to say, I'm actually too pretty. I'm too physically attractive to accurately predict the outcome of a boxing match between Jake Paul and Ben Askren. I don't have enough scars on my face. I don't have cauliflower ear. I put to you this. Maybe the reason I don't have cauliflower ear is because I was smart enough not to spend a significant portion of my life trapped in headlocks. But these are all just ad hominem attacks. This is what someone does when they can't argue against the contents of your message. They attack you as a person. Chael has to talk about the way that I look because he can't refute any of the points I've made. He can't refute any of those points because he agrees with them. He says in his video that he agrees with me. He says in his video that he concedes to me. He made a list of advantages and disadvantages that Jake Paul had and a list of advantages and disadvantages that Ben Askren had. He compared, he contrasted, he made 25 videos on the subject. He agrees with me on all aspects of the fight. My list is the same. Now you could argue that we arrived at that conclusion on coincidence, or that he watches and is influenced by my content. He made a smart move. He pretended that he couldn't remember what channel he got his ideas from. But the truth is much deeper than that. You could argue that it's biased. You could say that Ben Askren is a former MMA superstar who comes from a wrestling background, and Jake Paul is a YouTube personality who's never competed at the highest level, but clearly has amazing technique and skill. It makes sense that we would make the picks we make, but it goes even deeper than that. Even though Chael Sonnen and Icy Mike are telling you the exact same thing, only one of them is being honest with you. Chael's engaged in smoke and mirrors. You can tell because he asked the question, how did Khabib Nurmagomedov outbox Conor McGregor when the two of them fought? If you think about that question for any number of seconds greater than 0, you can dismiss the argument out of hand. That was an MMA fight. In MMA, there's the omnipresent threat of takedowns, of grappling. If the striker in the striker versus grappler story is wrong one time, he gets taken down, he loses the fight. If he's out of position one time, if he mistimes a strike, if his posture's not perfect, he gets taken down, he loses the fight. Khabib never had to worry about Conor taking him down. It's a ridiculous question. It's apples and oranges. It's a distraction. That's Chael attempting to distract you from what he's actually doing. To understand what he's actually doing, you have to know what clout is and what clout chasing is in the context of YouTube. Social media influencers, YouTubers, any social media platform, they require attention. That's the currency that we trade in. When someone is chasing clout, it's usually done out of jealousy. It's when they attempt to associate or attach themselves to what someone else is doing in order to draw attention to what they are doing. Now, I'll give the devil his due. I respect Chael. No disrespect to Chael. I don't think he's doing this out of jealousy or out of desperation. I believe it's an intentional, tactical choice. We're talking about a guy who hasn't won a fight in nearly 8 years. If you Google Chael Sonnen and Google attempts to define him in 2 words, it says American promoter. It doesn't say fighter. It doesn't say wrestler. It says promoter. That's what he is. He is a promoter. He promotes things. He talks about things in order to get you interested in them. It would make sense that he would try to ply his trade on YouTube, that he would come to YouTube assuming he would have success. And it makes sense that he would then do what he always does, which is talk his way into a conflict with a more talented man in order to draw more attention to what he's doing. Chael Sonnen picking a YouTube fight with me is as ridiculous as someone picking a boxing match with a professional boxer. I'm a professional YouTuber. But Chael thinks that his experience and his grit and his competitiveness will be enough to come after me. Now, I'll concede this. Chael Sonnen is an excellent promoter. He's an excellent talker. He can rile people up. He can get under people's skin. He is a hero of mine. If you're familiar at all with my content, you can easily tell that Chael Sonnen is a big influence on what I'm doing. But just like Israel Adesanya told Anderson Silva, who I believe is infinitely more deserving of the title of hero, just because you're a hero of mine doesn't mean you can't get it too. I put to you this offer. If Ben Askren wins this fight, I will fly out to you, Chael. I will allow you to pepper spray me in the face. We do self-defense weapon reviews on my channel. You know, you've watched all of them, I'm sure several times. You get to be on Hard to Hurt. You get to spray me in the face with pepper spray. You get to siphon off my viewers. They become your subscribers. You can have some success on YouTube. But if Jake Paul wins, I'll still fly out to you. I understand that things may be difficult. I'm sure you're doing something. I don't know what you have going on, but I'll fly out to you anyway. And I will concede to you one more point that I am a bit out of shape. I could make a bunch of excuses, but I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'll fly out to you. You help get me into shape. You give me some wrestling lessons. You give me some personal training sessions. You help me get started back getting into shape.